Time to Talk Tuesday, where your local realtor, Antonio Newton, discusses the local market and common issues, providing quick solutions, creative ideas, as well as tips for investors, home buyers, and homeowners.
Hi, my name is Antonio Newton, your local realtor with the Newton Group, and welcome to Time to Talk Tuesday. Today, we're talking about the market. You know, if you've watched any kind of news source or media outlet, you probably heard that we're in a very aggressive seller's market. And there's a lot of concern out there for sellers and buyers and the public in general on, is the housing market going to crash, or are we going to experience a financial crisis like we did in, between 07 and 09? So here in this video, I just want to address it from a local realtor here in the Columbia, Midlands, and surrounding areas on what I see and my reasons for why I think, even though we are seeing low inventory and some of the same key factors that we saw in 07 and 09, why I believe that the market is not going to crash. Now, I do believe that there will be a correction. Anything that goes up must come down. But I don't believe it's going to be a crash, and I don't believe we're going to be in a financial crisis like we saw in 07 and 09. So stay tuned, because you don't want to miss it. So before we jump into today's episode, I'd love to take this opportunity and thank my sponsors, Better Way Properties, as well as NortheastColumbiaHomeshow.com. Thank you so much for your sponsorship. I'd like to also give you a friendly reminder that you can catch any of our Time to Talk Tuesday episodes, our After Coffee, which is our interview series, our monthly market stats, and other video content on our YouTube channel at Antonio Newton Realtor. And if you see a video you like, please share it on any social media platform. We're also on Instagram and Facebook. We post articles there daily. You can like it, comment, and make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so that way you get notified of all our video content once we upload it on the site. So let's dive right in. So, is the market going to crash? You know, we're seeing a lot of similarities that we saw in 07 and 09. We see how quick homes are selling, how they're selling for top dollar, and how a lot of buyers are not getting opportunities to buy homes, how there's such an inventory shortage. We see low interest rates. So we see some of these same key factors. But why I believe Antonio Newton, which, if I had the answers, I'd be in Vegas. I wouldn't be sitting in front of you. But based on what I see and my knowledge and expertise, why I believe we're not going to see the same trajectory in the market when it corrects itself as we did. Now, I was not actively selling real estate in 07 and 09. Obviously I was alive. I heard about what's going on since getting into real estate, because that moment in time and that financial crisis always intrigued me. So I have done a lot of research on it. But obviously I'm heavily involved in the market now as an agent representing buyers and sellers in this marketplace. And I've seen how it has transformed or changed over the last couple of years. But one of the reasons why I believe that we will not see the same correction that we saw is because of the mortgage standards. So if you recall, back in 07, 09, almost anybody could get a house, no matter where you worked at, no matter what your credit score was, whether you had down payment or not. They had subprime loans, they had negative amortization, and it was just kind of a frenzy. Once again, I wasn't in the business, but on some of my research that I've done, is they weren't even verifying income. They would say, oh, you say you make $60,000. Oh, you can afford this house. And you would get approved like that. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's what was going on. And it's completely different nowadays. So we still have stricter credit standards. We still have the DTI, which is your debt to income ratio that lenders are adhered to. And buyers are more educated now. Because of what happened in 07 and 09, buyers are a lot more educated and cautious because, losing a home, nobody wants to do that. So buyers are a lot more cautious in terms of making sure they don't bite off more than they can chew. And when you think about 07, 09, not only did you have buyers that weren't qualified to purchase some of the purchase price homes that they were purchasing, but because interest rates were so low with the negative amortization, you had homeowners that were buying multiple investment properties as well. and they were financing these investment properties. And so therefore, whenever they were overstretched, they were outstretched, and then whenever things took a turn, they weren't able to maintain that. And we're not seeing that same thing now. Now, of course, you are seeing investors and you are seeing people flip houses, but a lot of that is done with cash rather than being done with finance. And then the second thing, or one of the second things, is the forbearance that we're seeing. Now, a lot of people think that foreclosures are now going to flood the market whenever it's released for banks to actually foreclose on the properties. But if you look at my Facebook page, Antonio Newton Realtor, I posted an article on Monday, and I just want to go over some of the main key points of that. But while the forbearance, we're not going to see probably the foreclosures that a lot of people think. We feel like those numbers are exaggerated, and I just want to share some of that information with you relatively quickly. But it said that one thing is that almost 50% of people have gotten out of the forbearance. Now, we still have millions in it, but it said 26.6 have made their monthly payments during the forbearance period, 14.7 have brought past due payments current, and then even 7.6 have been able to pay off their loan in full during this time. Now, once again, we still have over 2 million that are still in the forbearance program, and there's going to be an exit strategy there for them. But there are a lot that have been able to get out of that program by getting caught up by doing things, whether it's getting another job or whether it's using some of this stimulus money or some savings to offset those mortgage payments and what was going on. And then because of 07 and 09, number two is banks don't want to foreclose on properties. Banks don't want to go through all the paperwork, all the logistics, all the legality, and getting before the judge and everything in the process, because they saw what happened in 07 and 09. And, you know, banks lose money on foreclosures too. So they much rather work with the homeowners. And there's a home retention action plan that banks are trying to implement that will help work with homeowners to help keep them in their home rather than having to go through the foreclosure process. And when you look at those numbers, it says 35.5% of lenders have worked out a repayment plan with the borrower. 26.5 were granted a loan deferral where a borrower does not have to pay back the lender interest or principal for an agreed upon period of time. And then 9% have modified their loan. So because this is such a global thing and it's affected so many people, lenders are a lot more open to working with the homeowners to try to get them out of that without having to go through foreclosure. And then not only that, but they also believe that number three is that there is no political will to foreclose on these households. So they believe that the government will also help keep individuals from losing their homes. And they said they could do this by having different kind of programs that can come out. It says the proposed rule will provide a special pre-foreclosure review period that would generally prohibit servicers from starting foreclosures until after December 31st, 2021. It says the proposed rule will permit permit services to offer certain streamlined loan modification options to borrowers with COVID-related hardships. And it said the proposal rule would temporarily change to certain required servicer communications to make sure borrowers receive key information about their options at the appropriate time. So with the government being involved like this, because we know what a lot of foreclosures could do to the market and how it could be a real tipping point. And not that there aren't going to be some that hit the market, but we just think that the numbers exaggerated versus what the reality of the situation will be. And then number four is if all else fails, homeowners still have the opportunity to put their house on the market because it's there's so much equity in the home right now that they could still be able to purchase the property or be able to sell the property to avoid foreclosure. There are a lot more investors, not only small investors, but bigger investors as well, hedge funds and things that have capital to be able to come and help keep these homeowners from going through the foreclosure process. So that is a huge benefit, knowing that we have these things in place to help offset this forbearance. And really, this is the effect of the global pandemic. And then, once again, that cushion of equity that homeowners have. So that's going to help a lot of people be able to stay away from the foreclosure. Because when things do start to fall, they've gotten so much equity in the house that they will still be able to sell it for a reasonable price and not have to go through the foreclosure process. And there's a lot of buyers right now. There's these iBuyer programs, these cash offer programs, as well as just, like I said, mention your local investors, as well as individual investors that are willing and that have the capital to be able to come in and help save some of these homeowners. So there will be a correction. So growth will slow down. We're not going to be seeing over list price forever. We're not going to be seeing 30 offers, but we think it's going to be more of a gradual slowdown rather than the huge, tremendous dip that we saw. So maybe instead of 25 offers, we'll see 20, and then it'll be down to 12, and then 10. We also think now with the vaccine coming out that's going to help the inventory, because now more home owners are going to be willing to put their home on the market. And so being able to have this vaccine come out now that it's available to everybody, and we're kind of getting back to some kind of normalcy in terms of our everyday living. We'll never go back to what it was before March 2020, before the pandemic. But now we are getting back to some kind of normal routine and normal society of something that we're a little more familiar with. And I think that's going to help homeowners be able to put their houses on the market and be able to help this inventory shortage. And then also the Fed rate did say that they're going to keep the interest rate low, but we have seen the mortgage rate go up earlier this year. And if that goes up a little bit more, that's going to take some buyers out of being able to afford a home and be able to take them out of the game. And then as that buyer pool shrinks down and then more inventory comes on, that's going to help offset some of the craziness that we're seeing in the market right now. But it's still a seller's market, and there's still ways to navigate through that, whether you're a seller or a buyer. And, here at the Newton Group, we have things that we do being more proactive as we can to make sure that not only are we representing our sellers in the best way, so we get them top dollar for a smooth transaction that's going to actually make it to the closing table, because we've seen a lot higher percentage in canceled contracts. But we also like to work with our homeowners as well, so that way we get them the best house for the best price in this market, and we're able to not only just go from the properties that are on the market, but also searching for off-market properties as well. So if you want to talk to the Newton Group about how we can help you navigate through this unique market that we're in, whether you're a buyer, seller, or investor, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to have a personal, free, no obligation consultation with you and see if we fit and see what your goals are and how we can help you attain those. So once again, my name is Antonio Newton, your local realtor with the Newton Group, and I look forward to talking with you and helping you reach all of your real estate needs. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week.
This episode of Time to Talk Tuesday was brought to you by the Newton Group at Coldwell Banker, where nothing works until we do. Look for our episodes every Tuesday where Antonio Newton discusses the local market and common issues while providing quick solutions, creative ideas, as well as tips for investors, home buyers, and homeowners. If you'd like to reach out to us, we can be reached online and on land at area code 803-608-2597. So until next time, here's wishing you all fair winds, following seas, and gentle tides.